You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could.
George, how are you?
Great, thank you.
Another episode of Business Matters, this time with the CEO of Malta Enterprise. It's a pleasure to be sitting in front of you to get to know you a bit better. Let's start away from the CEO role of Malta Enterprise. Who is George?
George is an accountant by profession, a sportsman by heart, and a family man as well. That will encompass me all. And trying to find the balance between everything is difficult but important and keeps me in good health.
You said sportsman. How far does this sportsman go?
We're going into a long time, so I won't mention the number of years, but many years ago I used to play water polo. I come from a sports family as well, within my family as well. The cousins, the wider perspective. It goes many years ago. I used to play water polo. Today I'm in the administration of water polo as well.
Okay. And accounts?
Accounts, when I was young, I used to like maths. I always wanted to be a lawyer, but I was not good in languages.
Not many people like maths. Huh?
And I said, what would be my next job from being a lawyer? And I decided to become an accountant.
Okay. And the family? It must be of importance to you because when I said, who is George? It was one of the three.
Family plays an important part in my life. Obviously, I've had stressful jobs and long working hours, but thanks to my wife, we've grown a lovely family of 3 children, my wife and myself. It's difficult to keep up with them and their activities, but I do my best to be there present as much as possible.
They must be proud of you, though, from the sports era and now being the CEO of Malta Enterprise. I'm sure they are, and they all look up to you.
They are proud of me, and I am just as proud of them as well, because they're proving to be a success in everything that they do as well.
Amazing. Mentioning the CEO role, you have been a CEO of Malta Enterprise for a year and a half now, approximately.
A year and a half.
How has this year and a half been?
I would say nothing short of amazing, for both the experience that I'm getting, because I always believe in life you're always learning, and from one day I'm dealing with a small entrepreneur who requires our help, to the next day dealing with probably the biggest investment in Malta. So the exposure that it is giving me is wonderful. But also I would like to mention even the organization itself. The organization, we have a very good team. Almost 170 people, all raring to go, all believing in that we need to help the economy thrive, because we are an economic development agency after all, and all raring to work for the customer as much as possible, because I consider each and every business out there in Malta as a customer of Malta Enterprise.
I can vouch for what you said about the team, because I had the opportunity to work with them at the Startup Festival, and obviously not with all of them, but I was directly in contact with a few of them, and yes, they did really well with that conference, what happened before and what happened after as well. So yes, you must have received a call to be CEO of Malta Enterprise, or a message, an email or something. Someone approached you. How was it, and why did you say yes?
That's a nice story. In actual fact, there was the position that was going to be vacant, and someone told me, "Would you be interested in applying for the job?" And I said, "Yes, it's something that excites me, but I think it's a bit still too early for me to leave the job I had before. In fact, I was managing a team of 200 people before, and I felt I still had some more to go ahead. So my first answer was no, it's still too early. But my wife has always been there at very important moments, and she told me, "You've been saying you want a change in your career." Said, "Timing is never right, so I think it's something you should seriously consider." And from then on, it's history. So,
was it worth it in terms of everything, but maybe work-life balance related as well.
Definitely worth it for the experience. I'm a big believer in goals. I have 5-year goals in anything that I do, be it work, be it family, be it sport. I have 5-year goals, more than 5 to 10 sometimes. So it was definitely worth it, and I'm loving the experience. Obviously, I miss my colleagues of the past because I had worked with them for almost 19 years. And so there is a bit of that that I miss. But the work-life balance, you have to make work-life balance. It's no matter what job you have, the intensity is always there. You make out of it what you want. So work-life balance is important, and I always try as much as possible to get the right work-life balance between work, family, and sports.
What's the trick towards achieving the work-life balance? Because I'm sure you've managed it and you have experience that you probably failed managing it, but now obviously the older you grow, the more experience you gain, the more you kind of get the grips of it.
Spot on. When I was younger, I used to work all hours of the day. I used to also work with my wife, and I used to work weekends and all. When my family came along, I realized in the first few months that I was not going to be seeing my daughter very much if I had to continue in that fashion. So that's where I started to say, okay, weekends I will stop. But nights were still consistent. And as I grew older, I learned how to plan my weeks better, in actual fact. Sometimes you can't plan as much as that, but I plan as much as possible my week in each and every activity that I have.
So the trick for work-life balance, from your advice and experience, is planning at least 1 week ahead.
In fact, what I do, if I may, is Sunday morning I look at my diary and see all my activities. I roughly have an indication of what I need to do. Then I don't look at my diary again, except for in the morning at 6:30 in the morning, where I start planning my day.
On Monday.
On
Tuesday,
Monday for yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You mentioned something interesting that struck me a bit, so I want to open on it. You said you plan 5 or 10 years, but you mentioned 5 years specifically. How does that work? So you've been planning your whole career in 5-year goals. How has that worked, and how does that work?
I've been planning like that probably since I was 18-year-old, 19-year-old. So my first task was to qualify as an accountant and then keep up with the water polo. Unfortunately, my profession took over and I had to give up water polo, but I did manage in those 5 years to keep up with water polo. One of my goals was to play with the national team. Unfortunately, because of commitments, I never managed. Maybe I wasn't even that good to play with the national team, but I tried. I was part of the selection, but it was one of my goals. And I always have goals. I know they are achievable. So I strive toward them. So after,
But you set a time.
I set a time limit, and I give a leeway of a year or two. But it's even when I wanted to become a manager in the organization I was, when I wanted to become a partner in the organization I was, when I wanted to become a senior partner as well and run the firm. So it's been throughout my career. In fact, even when it comes to water polo, I knew I had to leave it for a period because my profession took over. But then I said, I have to find the right time to get back and give back to water polo what I had got. So, and then I chose the right time, and I said, within a time frame, I want to be the president of the club, and within a time frame, I will win the league as well, which was even shorter than I expected.
But you plan over 5 years, and
Always.
you find a way to achieve the goal within 5 years, whatever the goal, whatever
the goal. And obviously in life, you plan as much as you can, but you have to tweak your targets as you go along.
For those who might not be familiar with Malta Enterprise, now moving on to Malta Enterprise, what does it do? What does your role entail as well in Malta Enterprise?
So
You've already mentioned it a
yeah.
bit. I want to open a bit more.
So as I mentioned earlier, Malta Enterprise is the economic development agency, and we're there to assist businesses as well as individuals reach their goals in reality, as we were speaking a bit earlier on. We do that either through incentives or trying to help them in various ways in tax credits. I think here I can mention the number of schemes that we have, and in any year between tax credits and funds, we would distribute in excess of 100 million a year in terms of tax credits, funds, and schemes. So we have schemes that are targeted. Well, like the micro enterprises for people employing between 1 and 50 people. We have schemes for large investments, large FDIs that come to the island. So it is very, very varied. In fact, where I thought I knew a lot about Malta Enterprise in my first few weeks, I said, wow, there's so much more than I actually knew. Because also we focus a lot on skilling, reskilling of people through our Get Qualified scheme that reaches close to 3,000 students or people who want to advance in their career. So it's a very varied portfolio of things that Malta Enterprise does. So if you've got an hour, I can go through each and every bit of it.
On the CEO role then, you specifically, was it what you expected?
Definitely what I expected and more, to be fair. Again, I mentioned it slightly earlier, where, first of all, the team that there is, it's a great team. They're all working hard, all working to one objective. I knew a lot of the team before, because I used to interact with Malta Enterprise, but when I got there, I could see their passion and their will to work. From dealing with what I call clients, because everyone is a client, to me, I always look at it that way. Again, the experiences, I enjoy talking to a one-man band show where I get someone, listen, how can you help me in setting up my new business? How can you help me in my startup? And to me, that really excites me, that I see, especially the younger generation, really wanting to go and set up their own businesses, as well as then talking to large organizations that have revenues in excess of 750 million euros.
I'm going back to the goals, because when you were speaking about the 5-year, 10-year goals, I didn't ask you this, but I need to ask it now. In terms of your role as CEO, what's that 5-year goal that you're 1 year and a half into now?
Yes.
If you can share, because some goals are secret.
We're talking about goals in plural, so it's not one goal. One, I want to see Malta Enterprise to be more customer-centric, more out there to educate the people out there what we can offer to help them grow in their business. Two is I'd like to see the startup ecosystem, because that is something that I also started my prior organization literally in sync with Malta Enterprise. I remember going to speak to the previous CEO to tell him, listen, I'd like to do this in the startup ecosystem. And he told me, we're launching the Startup Festival in 3 weeks' time. You need to join. So the startups is something I really have a passion for, and I really want to see the ecosystem grow and grow further. I think another key area which is underestimated and really and truly, is the research and development sector here in Malta. There's a lot of research done out here by a lot of capable people, both Maltese and non-Maltese, where we have a lot more to do and a lot more to show. And last but not least is obviously now with the Vision 2050 that has been launched, assist in creating the ecosystems in the key areas that we have mentioned. So that's why I said goals. It's a lot for a 5-year and a tall order, but rest assured I'll do my best to achieve each and every one.
I have no doubt. You mentioned that you a part of the job that you really love is meeting people and helping people achieve their goals and their dreams. What's a success story? I'm sure you've had a few, but one sticks, one you remember and you're proud of.
To be honest, I'm proud of when I see a young entrepreneur make a success. And I really do it out of passion, because that's what I did myself. As family, everyone always tell you, go and get employed, so you have a secure business, so you have a secure salary so that you can pay your loans, your income is coming in. And at the age of 26, I said, no, this is not what I want to do. I really want to go further. and have my own thing. So that is, I would say, what I really enjoy, seeing young entrepreneurs grow. I've seen many over the years. I've seen some that now today are very successful in growing their business. So I can't really pinpoint.
But without mentioning names or a company, would you be able to tell me there was this man of 25 years old that I met a year ago that now has developed his business and his I don't know, but maybe something that could resonate with someone watching and say, I have a similar idea and I'm 25, I'm 30 years old, I should give this
Yes,
a go.
I again, if I can mention two examples, I had met in this role as well a university student who was also a lecturer at university who created or was part of a team that was creating a particular product in a very important industry. And seeing him develop from probably a shy person who wouldn't look in front of a camera and presenting to audiences to present his product, which is already proving to be a success, presenting his product and already getting a lot of interest from many investors. To me, that is something that will resonate in my mind. If I had to go in the younger days, I remember a person in retail who came to talk to me and said, listen, I'd like to go into retail because I think it's where I can do good money. And I remember telling him, listen, one of the biggest problems you have in retail is stock, so you have to be careful. I told him, and don't overexpose yourself. Today, he's a very successful person. I'm not sure, actually. I think he's sold a business and very successful and younger than me and is already thinking of retirement or if is not retired. So there have been a lot of these people where I've mentored and helped.
We've been trying to position Malta as a hub for startups. The activities that are done and the meetings that are done and the initiatives all seem to be going in that direction, developing Malta as a hub for startups, not only for locals, but for foreign investors who decide to come and start up in Malta. Are we being successful at it? And what are the advantages of starting in Malta and not anywhere else?
Well, let me start by the advantages. The advantages is you've got the support of Malta Enterprise, but more importantly, you've got a country that is stable, agile, and raring to go. And each and every investor, no matter how small or large, local or foreign, can see that not only through Malta Enterprise, but throughout all the organizations within Malta. So each and every person who comes, even if you take them to academia, they say, "Wow, what we have in Malta." So that is the advantages. As regards the ecosystem, it is growing. Obviously, as I said, it's something that started probably 5 years ago. There were many attempts over the years, but 5 years ago, it really kicked off. We've got someone that is listed on the NASDAQ. Recently, I met someone who's in research and has a very good product in cancer research, in pancreatic cancer, which is probably one of the most prevalent as we speak. And unless there is innovation in that area, unfortunately, there isn't much that can be done. And from a technical assessment, I've had it from a medic that is saying, listen, this is where we can go. If this does, we're still a way away, but this is where we will support. If it's a success, we'll probably have Malta's first unicorn. If not, we would have tried, and something surely will come out of it as well.
There might be someone listening to this because they have an idea or they have a plan and want to try it out, want to start their own thing, but don't know from where to start. They might need equipment, new technologies to be able to start. Where do you come in as Malta Enterprise? In a generic way from someone starting, but someone who actually needs investment to start, like a proper big investment in terms of technology.
Yep. First of all, I always appeal to everyone to approach Malta Enterprise to see where we can help. and more often than not, we can help if it's innovative. Let me be clear. There are startups that are really not startups. It's the same thing that we've seen time and time over again, but we will assist. And there are startups that are very innovative that will need more assistance. So we need to distinguish between the two, and we're there to assist both. The innovative will probably be a bit harder as well because what I'm mentioning earlier, it's a new innovative
There
technology.
isn't a structure.
There's
that's
the
already-
structure, so we're more than happy to help there by also bringing in mentors that may assist. And more often than not, these mentors actually end up investing as well in these entities, because I've seen it time and time again, not only at Malta Enterprise, even the founder generally thinks he's found something, it's the way he's doing it, and that's the best way to do it. It's very important that the founder listens to outsiders, because he is more often than not, he's the technological person, he's the person who knows the product or the invention, but then you really need the commercial people to assist you to go out there. So my appeal to founders is, we'll give you the help, but listen to the people around you that are giving you advice.
Green tech, AI, there were a few years in the past 10, 15 years where the word sustainability became like the most used word and the thing we use most. But now, apart from being sustainable, we're hearing a lot about green tech and AI especially. How are you helping in these new sectors, but they're growing really, really fast?
And these are clearly outlined as well in the Vision 2054 for the country. These are key areas we want to develop. There is already some momentum, I would say, in the green tech, where they come through our startup funding. And what I'm trying to do is not have specific funding for specific industries. We'll have our schemes and make sure maybe we give a bit more importance to certain areas, especially that those are mentioned in Vision 2050. But when it comes to AI as well, I think it's something that is hitting us very fast, probably faster than most of anyone who expected. We have to embrace it, but I think the most important thing is that we need to get the skills of it. We have a good ecosystem, the technology ecosystem that has grown over the years in Malta, so we need to develop those, and there is Malta Enterprise to assist in its schemes that it has. But also, if you had to listen to what the government said in the last budget, where there's going to be funds, tax credits, tax incentives for investments in digital innovation. That is where we really want to go, and that is where we need to take the country to the next level and get more value added to the country.
We're going to close off very soon this conversation because time flies. But I want to speak about legacy. When you entered the role, or now 1 year and a half down the line, you would know, like everything in life, that there will be a point when you will move on from the role. What's the legacy that you want to leave? Maybe too soon after a year and a half to be asked this, but you're a man who plans 5-10 years ahead, so maybe there's something that you want to leave and you'll be remembered for.
I've been asked this question several times in several instances of my life. I'm not a big believer in leaving a legacy behind, but obviously you leave your mark behind, yes. Legacy tends to be a bit of a strong word for me. So I do the best of what I can do. I do my best to make sure that wherever I am, I leave it better than I found it. And rest assured, I found Malta Enterprise in a very good position. I think what I'd really like to see is that enhanced customer centricity that Malta Enterprise will have, where we go out to our clients more than our clients come to us. Because that is, I tell our people, outreach. Because I think that is where you'd be surprised, where we can help. And through our help, the entity will grow, and through the entity growing, the economy will grow. So I think it's a win-win situation. So that is one of the main areas. The other one but this came after, to be honest, is when I was out, started visiting a number of areas at Malta Enterprise, I realized what a lot we do on research and development. And again, I don't And I don't believe there's enough knowledge out there of what we do in research and development, and they really want to expose what we do in research and development and bring more to the country as well. So those are the two key areas. And obviously, last but not least, is make sure that the startup ecosystem thrives.
We started speaking about you at the start of this conversation. I'm going to try and end it the same, and that's why I've asked you about the legacy, but Malta Enterprise related, to then move on to you related personally. If you had to give advice to yourself now, with all the experience you got in life and in business and in work, you speak to your younger self before it all started, what advice would you give? One change you'd make that would help in reaching the goals quicker or thrive even more?
It's a tough question. I don't think I'll change much. I have absolutely no regrets to what I've done. Probably I do have one regret, actually, that you remind me, but I'll mention it. But my motto has always been work hard and play hard. If you manage to balance those two, you will have a success and you will enjoy your life. Because in the end, you're doing this to enjoy your life. Nothing more and nothing less.
And would that be the advice you'd give to your kids as well now, if they ever come up with an idea that they want to start something or risk something, or is it just advice you'd give to yourself and the general public, but not close family?
No, I would definitely give to advice to the close family. In fact, my daughter came up with an idea recently, and I'm guiding her through it as well and telling her to enjoy everything, both in what she wants to achieve in the idea that she has, as well as in her personal life. We talk about work-life balance. We've been talking about work-life balance. It's balancing everything out, and you will be a success and you will enjoy life.
Just one slight thing. We're speaking about work-life balance. We started with it, we'll end with it as well. If the day gave us an extra hour, let's say it's not 24 hours, it's 25, what would you do in that extra hour?
I don't believe you need an extra hour, to be honest. I think you can fit everything, but probably if I had that extra hour, I was probably trying to exercise a bit more than I actually do. So
fair enough. That explains a lot. That in order to be successful and everything, you need the exercise and you need to keep fit. Has there been a question that when you were driving here, you'd said, that's how I'll answer that question, but I never got to ask it, that you'd like to speak of? One question I missed.
No, I'm not sure. I think you've managed to hit on a lot of points. So
You're happy with how it went?
I'm happy with how it went.
I'm very happy as well. Thank you very much for your time. I wish you and Malta Enterprise all the best in the coming years as well.
Thank you very much. It was really enjoyable, and I'm more than happy to do this again, because it really makes me think about a lot of things that I've done in my past and what I want to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know you could.